again for this week's haul of comics and talking about whether they have stories that are conducive to film and television or if they're just low-hanging fruit waiting to drop off the tree. So before we begin, I am Frank Zanca. I am your host. I am an award-winning screenwriter, a novelist, comic book writer, and a working line producer. Recently moved from Los Angeles to Atlanta. And I have just today, launched Lords of LA issue 2, because as I said, I am a comic book writer, and it is launching. We did it really well with issue 1. Issue 2, after just a few hours, is halfway to goal. So that is one of the covers right here from issue 1. You will be able to buy issue 1 as well as issue 2. We have early bird specials for the next few days, and you can buy them digitally. You can buy them hard copy. I will be signing the hard copies, stuff like that. So check out the QR code. I think the QR code is over here somewhere. But click that and get on board with it as soon as you can before the early bird specials end. All right. Thank you all if you haven't been supporting it already, thank you so much for getting us halfway to goal already in less than a single day. All right. And I'm really hoping to unlock some stretch goals. So check it out over here. All right. Put your phone up there or click the link below in the description. It'll take you to the Kickstarter page. Or you just go to Kickstarter and type in Lords of LA and it'll come up as well. All right, let's get into it. And again, thank you so much for watching. Let's talk about Catwoman, Batman, Gotham War, Scorched Earth. How many more titles can we put in there? I'm sure there's a few more, and probably a few more lines. They had to get so small with all the lines. So Gotham War is obviously just the main one. So we say the shocking conclusion. I don't know how shocking it is, man. I do not know how shocking it is. So this storyline is Catwoman was in jail for killing this guy, right? It was a guy that she was dating. And he was going to go kill Bruce. Of course, I think Bruce could have gotten out of it. But he ends up killing her, and she goes to jail for it. Now, why Bruce didn't get involved with her defense, I have no idea. We never saw any of the court stuff at all. She just ended up in prison. And very quickly, too. Usually if they go from jail to, having a bail, none of that. It's a Teenie Howard at her finest, not know what the hell she's doing, but she's going to write it anyway. So she immediately goes to prison. She meets up with all these people, supervillains, which she breaks them all out. So she is an escaped convict at this time, working with escaped convicts, teaching all these other henchmen from the Joker and from Riddler and everybody else, teaching them how to be cat burglars, because they're going to steal from the rich and give to themselves. Awesome. So we got escaped convicts. Now we have them teaching people how to be other types of criminals other than the violent ones. And she announces to the whole Bat family that she has stopped crime completely. Crime is over, aside from the stealing and other things that are going on in other books that are connected to it, like kidnapping, etc. Not to mention we have Vandal Savage coming in and causing a whole lot of trouble. And he's immortal. He says, oh, there's this meteor, my immortality's wearing off, so I need the pieces of the meteor to come in, and I need to gather them together. They're all just happen to be in Gotham. I need to put them together so that I can rejuvenate myself, and I can make everybody else immortal too. Okay. So, meanwhile, the whole Bat family says, you are right, Catwoman. You are right. Bruce has lost his mind. Batman's just going off the hinges. He doesn't understand that this crime is not really crime, so we're going to go fight him for you. What? What are we talking about here? Chip Zdarsky has jumped off the deep end. Teenie Howard's a bigger idiot than I ever thought she was, and we have this stupid, long, involved event take place over months where it just gets more and more and more stupid. Just illustrating how much these writers do not care, do not know. They don't even, I'm in the same ballpark as these characters. They're out playing in the left field while everything else is taking place at home plate. So they unleash this Joker toxin slash scarecrow fear gas, and Tim is there with no mask, nothing. The other characters come in with masks, and he's just apparently holding his breath and talking simultaneously. Okay. Wow. So the art is all right, nothing great. You know, some of the stuff is, see, he's got the mask on there. So Dick has a mask on, but Tim doesn't, because Tim is apparently the bestest ever. And then, of course, we have Jason Todd, who somehow he did a Clockwork Orange thing to him. So whenever he tries to do anything violent, he gets anxiety. Whatever. Stupidest thing too, because if Batman had that, why didn't he use it on the Joker? No, he uses it on Jason. And why would he do that anyway to someone? I don't believe that he would. And again, the whole relationship with Jason is really weird. So anyway, this whole fight takes place around the meteor. The meteor has become some kind of a Lazarus pit. So Vandal Savage tries to go in there, and his own daughter, he kind of pushes her away and says, "No, you can't do it. It's just me." And he touches the whole meteor, and since his daughter is wounded, he says, she says, "Oh, I'll pick you up." And so Batman saves the both, but I guess some kind of a tremor happens, and Catwoman basically falls into the pit. Okay. So we get this piece where she's falling, and he's like, "Oh no, oh Selena, no, can I cry again? Oh, where can I crawl up in a ball because I'm Batman?" So meanwhile, we have Jason Todd. So the meteor is basically coming at the thing, which would destroy the entire planet. Somehow it got through the atmosphere, everything like that, and he crashes the bat plane into it and destroys it. It's 1,000 feet across, but he took one little plane and it shattered completely. But anyway, he ends up surviving that by, I guess, jumping out at the last second, of course. And Batman decides that he's not going to have anything to do with the Bat family anymore. You guys go off and do your own thing. I'll do my own thing. I don't need connection to anything. I don't need the Bat. The manor's gone. I'm living in a brownstone. I have no money. You guys go off and do your thing. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'm an idiot for even doing anything. You guys were right the whole time. So you know what? I'm just going to move over here and you guys do it. I don't even know what the hell I'm reading anymore. So he ends up finding some kind of a thumb drive that shows that Selina's alive. She leaves him some kind of a message. I don't know. And then we have this stupid guy who's a burglar or whatever, because they had broken into since Dan Vandal Savage took over the manor, he had given all of the stuff to the villains. Whatever. So anyway, this guy finds the brownstone and finds Batman stuff. Says, Bruce Wayne is Batman! And you know what I'm doing with the rest of this book? Nothing. I have now canceled Batman, and I've canceled Catwoman. I'm not collecting anything. I'm going to probably get Batman and Robin, but other than that, I'm not going anywhere near Batman stuff as long as these two writers are anything near it. I'm not touching it. These guys cannot write. They cannot. They're destroying characters for no reason, and then they're writing ahead. Is it great, guys? Is it great? Aren't you going to go buy more? Aren't you going to go buy more? No, I'm not. I'm canceling everything. So if you want to see your sales tank, hire these two writers onto your books, and you can definitely destroy your company very, very quickly. All right? So does it make a good film or television show? No. It doesn't even make a good comic. They spent months on this thing, and they should be fired immediately. Both of them should be fired immediately. All right, so then moving on to White Widow. I was really looking forward to this. I really like Yelena Belova. I've been reading Yelena Belova since she was in Black Widow decades ago. And, she comes on and off. And I think it was Kelly Thompson that was writing Black Widow with Yelena in it. It wasn't great and it wasn't bad, but at least the characters were semi there. So then we have this thing here by what's this woman's first name? Sarah Gailey, and she apparently has never heard of Yelena Belova outside of Kate Bishop, the Hawkeye series, and the Black Widow movie. That's the only, obviously, from the writing in here, it's the only thing she knows. She has never read a Yelena Belova comic ever. So this is a complete farce. If you like the character, you're going to get a Jokerized version of Florence Pugh's rendition, where she tries to be funny through the whole thing. So, yeah. So we get her at the beginning, she's fighting Captain America, but then we find out that she's renting a house with a dog named Bint Clark. The guy that she was originally meant to go kill if you're watching the Hawkeye series. So if that's the only reference she has, then why did she make a dog named after the guy she was meant to kill that she had blamed for her sister's death? Makes no sense. But anyway, we get this nice stupid panel showing us this 4-bedroom or this 4-apartment house. And I guess there's a thing called armament where some of these people get arms from. That's literally, she gets a bionic arm. Not her, but one of the other characters from a thing called armament. So she has a whole vision wall where there's all the things that she likes and dislikes. I'm like, what am I reading? What am I reading? This is just going downhill extremely fast. So yeah, so here's the woman that only has one arm, and then she gets she gets a, literally, I thought I was kidding, right? So armament gives her an arm. What the fuck? So the artwork's all right. It's not really great. I mean, that action scene there is all right. And so we find out that the little town she's in, she likes the little coffee shop there, and the coffee shop gets taken over by armament. And she realizes that the other woman that she's friends with, that's also her sweet mate, or I want to call it, the other person in the other apartment, in the house that she's in, is also getting pushed out by armament. And the woman crashes through the window, and she's like, "Oh, there's a perfectly good door there. Why did she use the window?" Of course, she's trying to vandalize the place. What are you talking about? But anyway, it's almost like an old Western thing where we want your land, so we need you. And this whole book has been reviewed by many people, and we get this really nice close up of dog food because that's important. And another whole page of vision board with a lot of wasted space. It's just this that's what this whole book is. This whole book is just wasted space. And it's going to be wasted space in my short box too. And I guess there's the guy from Armament going, "Oh, I have something I need to deal with now." Ha ha ha. So Yelena Belova, obviously they're trying to do the Thunderbolts with her. She is a character. I think teaming her up in the Marvel universe, her with Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop, I'd go see that movie. I think that would be funny as hell if they made it like an action comedy. I think that would be funny as hell. And then if you threw Hawkeye in it too, I think that would be really the three of them. I'd go see that movie. I think that would be lots of fun. I thought the Hawkeye show was lots of fun. I know that people didn't like what they did with Kingpin, even though he was throwing her around. But I can see the point where he's a bigger threat than her, and but they didn't make her out to be Mary Sue. I mean, she was tripping and falling all over the place. She messed up more things than she she caused more problems than she was worth. And seeing Clint's his reaction to her was real. I thought the acting on it was really funny. But anyway, so with this man, this is crap, dude. This is complete crap. The Sarah Gailey, it's one of those things where they gave them a short, mini series to do, and you'll never hear from this person again. As I watched so many reviews, nobody's collecting the series. They got the first one, and everybody's dropping it. Everybody. So I mean, she's going to be down to like 5 people reading this thing. I mean, I don't know how Fire and Ice is still going. They should just can't. Apparently, they had some of the artwork already done. They already paid them. So, but I don't even know why you take that and actually print it. It's bad. Just make it a digital comic and leave it at that. Why pay any more money? All right, so that's 2 up and 2 down, baby. 2 up and 2 down. So going into the third one up here, and I'm just gonna break it to you quickly. It's also down. Doctor Strange. So Jed MacKay is writing 3 books right now. He's writing Moon Knight, he's writing Avengers, and he's writing Doctor Strange. So everybody, it was a slow week for me, and I saw this out, and I love Clea, and I love Doctor Strange, but I mean the cover is gorgeous. The covers on these things have all been great, but then we get into the actual artwork, and the artwork inside is crap. And then we have this wand thing going on, and we have this a version of Doctor Strange is called General Strange, which meant absolutely nothing to me. I didn't collect the previous thing, and Clea's in it very, very small amount. She's trying to save some kind of a baby or something like that, and and they just keep clashing. Every page is them clashing. And the general's like, I have way more experience than you. He says, but you've been fighting 1,000-year war and you haven't won, and blah 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 blah. And he stabs Strange, and he's on the ground, and nothing really happens. So he basically kicks Doctor Strange's ass. She gets the baby. Which I guess is the same species as she is. And then he says, I have friends, and Wand shows up, or whatever. Not Wong, but Wand, which is the group. Whatever. It's bad. It's bad. The artwork's bad. The story's bad. Everything's bad. Would it make a good Doctor Strange follow-up? No. Not even in cartoon. It's just bad. Take it away from me. That's 3 for 3, guys. 3 for 3. All right, let's go into Sacrifices by Rick Remender. So this is about, this is issue 4 now. So this is about the pigeon guy who is, we're in this world where the gods demand a sacrifice every X amount of years. It's like every 20 years, something like that. So the father did not want to get attached to his son, and didn't want the family to get too attached to him since he was claimed for sacrifice. I guess it's like their firstborn or whatever. So he leaves them in the barn, and every time he tries to get with the family, or at least peek through the window, the father would take the belt out and beat him mercilessly till he was bleeding. So I can't really feel for the father at all. And even if after 20 years, I mean, that just shows you're a weak person. To me, that just shows you're weak. And the only person that was nice to this kid was his sister. Now, the people that work for the gods come and say, okay, give us your kid. And the guy, he tries one time to say, oh, we don't have anybody. And he's like, yeah, come on, just go get him. And that's the only time he tries. And they take this kid, and then they go on to other families and take other families' kids, and then they have this treacherous march up to go wherever the gods are. And then it's like Willy Wonka situation where they feed them, they make them happy, they're all partying, And the other kids, this pigeon kid's like, I'm just waiting for the next shoe to drop, man, because we're sacrifices, you know. And this other whale kid is like an orca, says, no, no, this is we've been chosen, blah blah. And then they take everybody pretty much, but the pigeon kid, of course, because he's got to live on to the next scene. And they take them and they kill them all. And they take this liquid out of them, except for the one girl who realizes what happened. She was the orca one, and she tries to escape, and then what they take out of her is purely fear, and it turns into a liquid. And then they serve this blue, and that's why you see the cover, this blue liquid is what they took out of the kids that they killed, and they put it in these fancy goblets, and they give them to the gods to drink. So we start out in this issue with we're showing the pigeon families all celebrating the sacrifice, and the father is basically sitting wallowing in a drink. And he, goes on a tirade. What have the gods ever done for us? That we sacrifice our children and then we celebrate it and blah blah blah. I mean, it's good lines, but but again, I cannot feel for this guy. You weren't nice to your kid. You treated your kid for 20 years like a piece of garbage, and now you're worried about how you feel? How you feel guilt? Get out of here with this. If I was that guy, if I was anybody with that I knew the story, I would have whooped that motherfucker's ass. And said, you didn't even care. Why do you care now after it's over? You had 20 years to care. Now, after 20 years, and you gave the kid up, now you care? Get out of here. So, I mean, I like the scene, but I understand the guilt that the guy's feeling, but as an outsider, I can't feel for the thing. But I understand what Rick Remender is doing here, because he feeds that in to other things. But the beginning kind of pissed me off. I understand it, but it pissed me off. So all the other gods are now drinking this thing, and Luna, who is Moon, and she is married to Sun, but they have to live apart, and they have a daughter together who has a moon on her face but has the fire coming out of her hair. She's kind of against this whole thing, and the other gods really don't care, because the thing that they're drinking. So here's the daughter on this page here, and she throws a drink on the floor. And all the other ones drink it, and we see in this page what the drink does. The drink turns them all back to being young. So I guess they age over 20 years badly to where they're almost ancient, and then they go back to being young people, which I thought was pretty interesting. It makes a lot of sense why they need the sacrifices to take place. And then the daughter, so the king, who is the sun god, takes all the credit for his underlings' work. He's the one that went and got all the sacrifices. He's the one that helped make the concoction and everything like that. And he basically zooms away when the other guy takes all of the credit. And the daughter follows him on some kind of a skiff. And that's where it ends. So, which is a really nice kind of splash page. But it's nice. This one, not a whole lot happened here. We basically had just a few pieces of information, and that's it. So not a whole lot happened. But overall, I'm still liking the story. I'm going to keep collecting it. I don't know if this is an ongoing or not. I don't see how you can continue with a storyline forever for this type of thing. I think it's going to have some kind of a limited run. All right, and then we'll go. So we'll make a good film and television show. Again, I'll have to be animated unless you changed out. It'll be too expensive to make every single character CGI. So it would have to be animated. But yeah, I would. It's definitely good, but it's definitely more adult. It's very dark, very dark. All right, so let's go into Canary. So when I saw this on the list, and this is my criticism with this. So this is by Dan Panosian and Scott Snyder. who both do really good work. And this is a supernatural western. So when I heard supernatural western, of course I had to buy it because I did my own supernatural western called Six Gun Savior, which was a little teeny low budget that I did with Eric Roberts and Martin Kove from Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. So I first of all, the cover tells me nothing. It's basically three guns woven together. The second thing is when I saw the name just on a list, I was looking for a Black Canary comic from DC. So the name does not help them at all. It doesn't give you any kind of idea about what the book's about, and then neither does the cover. So you're batting 1,000. So if the sales are not good, that's the two reasons. A, you're almost alluding to a DC book with Canary, and the second thing is that the cover does nothing for you. So, I picked it up purely because of the genre, but I had no idea what I was buying. I just bought it. And on top of that, it's $5. So I could see them not having good sales because their marketing. How do you market? How do you market something like that? So the cover doesn't make you want to buy it, for sure. So we start out with a guy who is a marshal, all right? And he finds this school teacher that has been murdered. Okay, this is by the same guy who did Barnstormers, by the way. So he finds that she was murdered by a student. A student just walked up and slit her throat. So, and there was something to do with eggs and something like that. So he goes to the house where the kid, which is more like a clan, and he goes to confront the family so that he can talk to the kid. And they're all waiting for him with guns loaded. There's one guy on the roof, and the kid doesn't seem plussed by any of it. He is totally nonplussed by the whole situation. So he said, "Look, I'm going to talk to the kid no matter what." And the marshal is famous for killing people and him being a really good shot. So they did like pulp novels about him, and he has this coffin that's emblazoned on his bandana. So everybody is scared of him when he puts the little thing on. So they say, "Look, we're going to get on the horses and we're going to get out of here, and you can't do anything about it." And he says, "Oh, those horses," and he kills them all. And then the guy goes to cock his rifle, and he kills the father too. Then he kills the guy on the roof. And then the mother pulls the gun and says, "Nope, he's my kid. There's nothing you could do about it." And she gets her brains blown out by the kid behind her. So this kid is definitely not right. He just killed his own mother. And he says, "I'm going to come with you, but can you bury this egg? It's special. It's kind of a creature egg." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, kid." So he calls up his home office. So he's almost like a Pinkerton kind of situation. So he calls up his home office, and his boss says, "Look, I need you to go to Canary, and there's some kind of an underground stream that we think is carrying evil." He's just like, "What?" Because all of the different murders that have been weird have been on the course of this underground river or whatever. And he's like, "I don't want to go back to Canary," because he had a bad situation there where he was trying to bring somebody in and something happened. So they tell the story of him approaching this guy that he's supposed to bring in, but I don't really know everything. The guy isn't scared of him when he goes to bring him in and all this stuff. Yeah, the guy's kind of really weird. He eats like the fish like all in one piece. I don't know. That's a way to eat sushi, huh? So he needs to meet like a geologist at the thing, and then we get the geologist, which back in 1800s, the guy's black. So of course there's that undertone. They don't say anything, but there's the undertone that the only reason anybody's talking to him is because the marshals with him, and he thanks the marshal. And the marshal's like, for what? Which I thought was really cool. So we don't actually ever talk about the racial thing. It's kind of half baked in, but it's just really quickly levied and out of the door, which I appreciate. He acknowledges the fact that there should be an issue, but doesn't make it one because the story doesn't need it. So he goes to Canary, where it's very famous. Whatever happened to this guy at this pond that he's supposed to bring in? I get that went awry, but the story that came out of it was completely different than what actually happened, which we don't really know what really happened yet. So the mayor, the whole area grew because of this story based on whatever happened, which became the pulp novel. So the mayor wants to take pictures with him, and he's not having any of it. So he and the geologist go have a drink, but yeah. So here's the guy who ends up shooting because the guy dove at him, but didn't kill him there. But he finds all these like kids underneath the water chained up or something to that effect. I really don't understand it at this point. And the guy goes and isn't dead, and he's strangling him. And I think that's the last piece of that flashback we see. And then they go into the bar and they talk to the bartender, and the bartender reveals that she and her father are the ones that helped build this town, and she has like a scar on her eye, and she was the one that called them in to solve the problem. So she decides that she's going to go with them in the morning to the mine, which is where I guess this underground system kind of runs from. And that's all we see. That's the end of it. So the characters are really well written. I thought I was into it. So would it make a good film or television show? Yes, but you got to change the damn name. You got to change the name. The name doesn't do anything for the story. So I love supernatural westerns. This really hasn't gone too supernatural at this point in time, but I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. So anyway, I'm going to say yes to Canary. I hate the name. And Sacrificers, yes, but it has to be animated and has to be an adult cartoon. Doctor Strange, piece of dirt. White Widow, a bigger piece of dirt. And Gotham War, Scorched Earth, the biggest piece of dirt. So we got 3 pieces of dirt from the mainstream comic publishers, and we have 2 good ones from independents. This is why I'm kind of weaving my way away from Marvel and DC, and I'm starting really just to get more independents. The independents are where it's at now. The superhero stuff is just falling in the trash. I don't know why they can't find good writers, but they just can't. They're just unwilling to, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me. But before I finish up, remember, I'm not going to go into anything else besides Lords of LA. So Lords of LA, these are like a few of the covers of the first issue, and of course I have 6 covers for the new edition, the new issue, and these are 48 pages apiece. And I've retired some of the covers from the first one, so there's going to be covers from this one that you're not going to be able to get either. But remember, I have the early bird specials running right now, so this is what I call the montage cover. This is the throne cover. And then I have a few of these left that are kind of naughty, which has some nudity on them. And then I have a bloodbath cover as well, which is over here. So I have this cover as well. So I have like 4 covers that are available for Lords number 1, and then I have 6 covers for the new issue. All right, so if you can click, either click the link below, go to the QR code. Please support it. I'm hoping within 48 hours we can get to fully funded, and then I can start unlocking stretch goals, but I need everybody's help to do it. If you're not able to jump on it, maybe you can share the link for me on your social media. That would be good as well. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it, and you guys have an awesome day.